Okay, here's part 2 of our chapter 12 review. And I actually wanted to do number 17 up here because it's a little bit different as far as clustering. And I want you to look at this one. Here we've got decimals that we're clustering. So if you look at these decimals, you have 0.34, 0.297, and 0.316. If you were to cluster those around one number that they're all very similar to, for estimating purposes, what do you think you could use as a cluster number? We would use, they're all about, let's do it over here. They're all about 3/10 if you look at them, right? Or you could say 30/100. They're all approximately right around there, right? It's kind of like 34/100, kind of like 29, 31. They're all similar. So you've got basically 3 sets of those. So you're taking 30/100 times 3, right? That's 0, that's 9. You're going to move it 2 decimal spots over. And your answer would be approximately 90/100 or approximately 9/10. All right, that's a little bit harder when you get into decimals, but you should be fine with that. Okay, so let's move on to our next set of problems. We've got this. When you see something that says simplify, don't let that throw you. It just means they've given you something that's complicated and they want you to simplify it or solve it. So let's look at this. It says it wants you to solve or simplify 5 times as much as $11.37, decreased by $20.08. So let's look at the vocabulary here. If you have 5 times as much as something, you're going to multiply, right? 5 times as much as $11.37. Decreased by means you're going to subtract by $20.08. So we just took our word problem and we simplified it into a numerical expression. 5 times $11.37 minus $20.08. Order of operations says do the multiplication first. So let's take $11.37 times 5. 5 times 7 is 35. 5 times 3 is 15. Plus 3 is 18. 5 times 1 is 5. Plus 1 is 6. 5 times 1 is 5. And we've got 2 decimal places. So we have to take this decimal and move it 2 over. So we've got 56.85 or 56 85/100. Now that is not our answer because we said we need to decrease it by or subtract $20.08. So let's do that. Let's subtract that. Okay, we're going to have to borrow here and get 7, 7, 6, 3. All right, so our answer is $36.77. All righty, great. Let's get rid of that and move on to the next section, which is give a multiplication sentence for the model. All right, we've just done this in the past few days. You know that when you see a model like this, one factor is going to be represented horizontally and one factor is going to be represented vertically. So what's represented horizontally right here? Remember, these strips are each 1/10. So we've got 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10. That's our first factor. Times 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10 going vertically. Now it says give a multiplication sentence. That means we need an equal sign and we actually need to solve it. 7/10 times 6/10. We're just going to multiply the 7 times the 6 and get 42 and then add the decimal point later. How many spaces are we going to move it? Once, twice. Once, twice. It's going to go right there. Our answer is going to be 42 hundredths. All right, let's go on. Let's do one more of those. I'm not going to do two more because you just had this for your lesson recently. All right, but let's do this one right here. We've got one factor here and one factor here. I can't quite get on the screen there. This one is going to be 1/10, 2/10. So we've got 2/10 times 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8/10. 2/10 times 8/10 equals 2 times 8 is 16. What are we going to do at this decimal point? We're going to move it 1, 2 spots to the left. And our answer is going to be 16 hundredths. All right. Great. Clear the screen here. Let's go down here. We've got one problem down here, number 22. It says find the product. Now, if you can see, you are multiplying a decimal by, look at this, a power of 10. You don't have to do all the math. When it's by a power of 10 or has an exponent, all you have to do is move that decimal to what the exponent says or the number of zeros. You're multiplying it by 100, so you just take this decimal point and move it once, twice to the right, and you get your answer, which is 27. Okay? Let's do a couple more of those. I'm not going to do all of these, but we'll just do a few here to get you started. All right, here on number 23, we've got 8 times 91 hundredths. All right, there's no powers of 10, there's no multiples of 10, so we actually have to do the math here. We're going to take 91 hundredths times 8. All right, sorry, this is really hard. My hand is making marks on the screen. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 9 is 72. We've got 2 decimal places. We're going to move it 2 decimal places to right there. Our answer is 7 and 28 hundredths. All right, and let's pick one more over here to do. Let's do this one right here, 28. 6.9 times 10 to the third power. Wonderful. When you have a power of 10, you don't need to do the math. All you have to do is look at this exponent, and that tells you how many decimal places you're going to move it to the right. It says 3. So you're going to take that decimal point 1, 2, 3 spots. It's going to go way over here, which means I need to fill in the gaps with zeros. So my answer is going to be 6,900. All right, let's move along and see if there's anything that looks a little different. Look, here's another one, number 32. You're not going to need to do the math because look, it's a 10. It's a multiple of 10. Just move that decimal point over. Okay, these ones you're going to actually do the math. I'm not going to do it with you because you just know how to do those. Multiply them as if it's just a regular multiplication problem and then move that decimal point over. Okay. Same with these. Nothing different here. I'll do this one just because it's money. Money is no different than a decimal. You are just taking 5. Well, let's just do it right where it's got here. $5.99 times 7. Just multiply like normal. 7 times 9 is 63. 7 times 9 is 63 plus 6 is 69. 7 times 5 is 35. Plus 6 more is going to be 41. Now, we do not have $4,193. Look up here. We have 2 decimal places. So we take this decimal point that was here for a whole number. We move it once. We move it twice. And we end up with $41.93 as our answer. Okay. You guys have got this. Let's get rid of this. I'm going to scroll up. There is nothing new here. All of this is just multiplying your decimals. Let me take one down here. Let's just take this last one, 45. Right here. 3.1 times 0.04, or 3 1/10 times 4 hundredths. Okay? Look at, they didn't line up these decimals here because you don't need to for multiplication. Just do some regular multiplication. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Now remember, you're putting a placeholder in if you want to move over, okay? Now you've got 0 times 1, 0 times 3. Okay, now you've got to move over to the place right here, right? You've got to move all the way over there, the third spot over. If you're going to move over to this spot, you've got to move over and put your placeholders in right here. So 0 times 1 is 0. 0 times 3 is 0. 4 plus 0 plus 0. 2 plus 0 plus 0. 1 plus 0 plus 0. And 0. All right, that was a little bit complicated. 1, 2, 3 decimal places. 1, 2, 3 decimal places. And that is going to be your answer. And that's about as complicated as it's going to get with decimal places. You can see that in some of these, and on your test, you're going to have where you need to go and put those placeholders in like that. Don't forget how to do just your basic multiplication. Okay, guys, that was a long 2 videos, but I think you've got this.